Hey guys, welcome back to the Intuitive Tennis 24/7 channel. I'm making another video from the beautiful Intercoastal here in Palm Beach County. It's another windy and rainy day and I'm going for a walk, and I thought I'd make another video responding to the recent video that I made from the Intercoastal, where I basically asked the question, is Novak Djokovic the GOAT? And for whatever the reason is, the YouTube algorithm redirected the Novak Djokovic army into my comment section, where everybody was saying that indeed Nole is the greatest player of all time. And you guys can watch this video and read the comment section, which basically proves my point. And I explained that being a GOAT, it's a tricky thing. It depends on many factors, and it's not fair to some of the players in the past to single one player out as the greatest of all time. Because here's the thing, in the comment section you will see that the Nole fans said, rightfully so, that Djokovic is the greatest player of all time, but they at the same time start to bash Nadal, call him all kinds of names. They start to bash Federer as well, and they bash some of the older players that I mentioned in my video as well. And that is the problem, that when you single out one player as the greatest of all time, the other players, undeservingly so, get bashed. And that, in my opinion, is not fair. And this is just my opinion. This is why I call many players as the GOAT. I made this into a tennis level that you can achieve, which is the GOAT level, and I'm going to make a detailed video on the certain tennis levels that you can achieve, starting from the recreational level, and the ultimate level in tennis is the GOAT level. And in my opinion, it is fair to all players that reach this GOAT level to categorize them as such. And I made some great points in my original video stating why you can't single out one player as the GOAT. But you guys in the comment section of that video have to understand that I've always said that Novak Djokovic is the best player in the world. And I've been saying this for a long time. I'm a die-hard Nadal fan. You see this shirt? I got tons of these. Why? Because I love Nadal. He's my favorite player of all time. But I know deep in my heart that Novak Djokovic is just a tad better. I feel like when both of them play at their highest level, Djokovic is better, but it gets a little bit more complex, which I'll explain in a second. But this is my belief that out of the big three, which by the numbers are the greatest of all time, Novak Djokovic stands out, and this is proven to be correct. I made the prediction in my last video that he's going to surpass all the records in the books, even the record held by Jimmy Connors that nobody thought would be ever broken. The most tournament titles, I think Djokovic will be able to pass that record as well. He'll most likely pass the Grand Slam records as well if he stays healthy, and also if Nadal slows down, which can happen. These are big ifs, we have to wait and see, but it's highly likely that Novak Djokovic will become the greatest title holder in the history of tennis. But here's the thing, in addition to all the other points that I made in my original video why you can't single out one player as the GOAT, you have to take into consideration that Rafael Nadal, this guy right here, is the greatest tennis player in the history of the game on clay. So when you call Novak Djokovic the GOAT, you have to put an asterisk behind his name, because yes, he might be the GOAT of all time, but he will never be the GOAT of clay. So you have to say Novak Djokovic is the greatest player of all time except on clay. And you see the problem? Wouldn't it be better to call all of them GOATs, to call Federer the GOAT, to call Nadal the GOAT, to call Djokovic the GOAT? That is the fairest things. Then you don't have to put an asterisk behind it. We can all live in peace. The Federer fans, the Nole fans, and the Rafa fans can live in peaceful harmony, because in my opinion, not only the big three, but many other players such as Borg, such as Connor, such as Lendl, and I'm going to list all these players when I make my levels of tennis videos, but all these players, in my opinion, deserve to be called the GOATs for the reasons that I stated in this video and my previous video. So guys, no need to insult Rafa, no need to insult Federer. I understand that you love Nole. Listen, I love Nole as well. I love the big three. These guys have done so much for tennis, and we all have our favorites, but we have to learn to get along and respect these guys, because guess what? These guys respect each other. If you talk to Federer, he's not going to have one player stand out as the greatest. He's going to name multiple players. If you talk to Nadal, he's going to name multiple players. And if you talk to Nole as well, he's going to name other players as well who are the greatest. Now, I do believe that something deep inside of Novak drives him to become the best. And in my opinion, it's the reason that Federer and Nadal have these huge fan bases and his fan base is strong. But you're not going to argue with me that it's a lot smaller than the fan base of Federer and the fan base of Nadal. So for that reason, he feels inside of him this need to prove himself and to prove everybody wrong. I think that's part of the thing that drives Novak. And even at the Laver Cup, when everybody was crying at the Federer retirement, I felt like Novak was standing there and he was a little bit envious of the reception that Federer was getting, because I think because of some of the hate that Novak got, undeservingly so, he has this need to prove himself, and that's ultimately what drives him, and that's ultimately going to result in him breaking all the records in the books as I predicted in my last videos. But again, I'm going to repeat myself. All these players are GOATs, and not only the big three. There are players from the past that we have to give respect to. And again, this is just my opinion. This is what I believe in. I have huge respect for tennis. I have huge respect for the legends of the game, and I treat them with the respect that they deserve.